friends, I'm Erin with Awen Ovate. Today is Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. Our deck we're using today is the Goddess deck by Chris Walder. It was released somewhere around 97 or 98, but it was quite popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. This deck combines elements of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and the Thoth deck while celebrating the divine feminine, which is kind of cool because it's very goddess based. Actually, I think the only males that show up in this entire deck are the princes, so that's interesting. Each suit connects with a goddess, and take note here because it's going to come into play later. Rather than some of the traditional symbology, it uses the goddesses to connect to the suits, the path of the suits. So the cups follow card 6, Venus, traditionally the lovers. Staves correspond to the path of Freya, which is the major arcana 4, the Emperor. The suit of swords is represented with Isis, major arcana 1, the Magician, or the Magus. And here's the big one that you're going to want to remember. The suit of pentacles relates to Lakshmi, which is the goddess of fortune, and that major arcana is 10, the wheel of fortune or fortune, and she relates to the pentacles. That's going to come into play later. But I will do a video more in depth on each deck, so the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, Thoth, Tabula Mundi, the Goddess deck by Chris Walder, the Lovers Tarot by Chris Walder, the Fairy Ring by Anna Franklin and illustrated by Paul Mason, and the Salvador Dali deck by none other than Salvador Dali. So those will be some interesting deep dives that we'll do, but that probably won't be in February. I think that's going to be a March thing. This deck is being used for the Simplified Cross. The Simplified Celtic Cross is a great way to get an overview on a topic rather quickly. So you can lay out 6 cards, you can read them, and then you have a little bit more insight on a complex issue. Rather than going with the full Celtic Cross, which is 10 cards, and it's rather in-depth and a lengthy process, and they usually connect together quite beautifully. So will these. So I asked how things will go when my fiance moves in over the next 6 weeks. Fortunately, card 1 gives us some insight into the experience to date. The card that I pulled for that one is the 8 of Pentacles. The experience to date has been rather strained. Some of the themes and keywords here on the 8 of Pentacles, just to keep in mind, are the virtue of restraint, self-sufficient development, growth and refinement, attention to detail, craft and skill, patiently growing, ripening, making and perfecting, accrual of resources, tending, vigilance over, and the care of small things, humility and diligence. I'm going to admit right off the bat that patience is not my strong suit. But as you can see, when we compare with the Rider-Waite-Smith, this is a craftsman really paying attention to the detail and the quality of the product. So our experience today is combining our lives has been strained. We have 2 homes and 2 lives that have been lived with all of our things over the last 20-some years. Obstacles have been disheartening for us, but each small step we take guides towards a solution. Fortunately, some of our support comes in the form of friends like Brittany Faulkner with FC Tucker Plaque Collective, our realtor, who will hopefully be listing Jim's house. Well, that's just another side note. Hi, Brittany. Thoth is right here, totally making sure work's going well. Card number 2 is Temperance. That's in this deck and the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. In Golden Dawn associated decks like Thoth or Tabula Mundi, it's represented as art. I can't wait for you to see the Tabula Mundi art card. It's one, I think it might be my favorite. I really like it. But then again, it has rainbow, so that makes it easy. This card is in the position of where I am now. My family supports us. They support this union. It's, absolutely fabulous that we have that kind of support. It's just great. They know how to help, and they do a great job stepping in when we need some help. Sometimes I feel a bit uncompromising these days, and I feel like I'm being tested, which isn't really fair because I'm not. But this card is assuring me that the right move will show itself, the right path forward will show itself if I pay attention and put in just a wee bit elbow grease. So this is alchemy, refining, tempering, calculation, reconciling of opposites. So, I see it one way and sometimes my fiance sees it another. We need to come to a medium ground. This is a synthesis of conscious and unconscious desires, as you can imagine, moving in together, preparing for a baby. There's a lot of stuff I'm aware of, but what about those deep down feelings that are coming into play? And this is tension before the bowstring releases. Testing, ordeals that strengthen, moderation between extremes, mixture, covenants as promises within the self. So it's definitely a powerhouse card. I've been doing a lot of readings lately. I've done the birthday reading, the past, present, future reading. I believe I posted the Wheel of Sabbath reading, and I'm fairly sure they all have the Three of Staves or Three of Wands in them. Well, no big surprise here. So does this one, as well as a couple of the other ones I'm going to cover in the new videos coming out this week. So, hello, card 3, Three of Staves, the near future. Some of the themes are new growth, quickening of projects, quickening of creative projects, dignity, virility, established strength, performance, benevolent rulership, good governance, nobility, right action, guest host relationship, and watch and wait. So much patience. Things are not going according to my plan, and they will not go according to my plan. In this case, need to keep things open and make sure that we are listening to all ideas and all inputs to come to the right achievable conclusion and a reasonable solution. This is the best course of action anyway because it's going to strengthen the relationships between our family that supports us and between ourselves, and it's just going to be, the best thing in the long run. This is me, or you if this were your reading, in the future environment. Card 4, I pulled the Five of Pentacles, which is the Lord of worry and material poverty. So there's a fear of losing stability and power, and I love stability. So this is kind of a bummer for me, but I'm sure it'll work out. Nervous stress over resources or lack thereof. Gears grinding, millstones turning, throttling of power, renunciation, severity in financial, practical, and bodily matters. I'm pregnant. Strain of inertia, sacred doubt. So there's a lot going on in there in my future environment. There's going to be emotional strain. We have so much going on. My fiance started a new position. In November, it's a startup project. That's not helping things. We're pregnant. That's not helping things. We need to move in together. Those are 3 big life changes right there. So there is a lot of emotional strain. And at times it is discouraging when things aren't moving ahead quite at the pace that I think everybody would like for them to. So there could be some emotional exhaustion from this. There has been. But I need to keep an eye on that and be mindful of it so I can be there for others when they need me, if they have emotional distress or need help. We need to just work through these growing pains the best we know how as a family and lean on each other. Now, something interesting is right after the Five of Pentacles, I dove into card 5. And card 5 is the best that I or we could hope for. I pulled the Six of Pentacles for this one. Now you can read the Six of Pentacles in conjunction with the Five of Pentacles. They go well together. So just some key concepts on the Six of Pentacles, and then I'll read the Five of Pentacles with the Six of Pentacles in context for the best we can hope for. How do you think separately and independently, this is exactly what I am hoping for in the future. Appreciation of beauty, enjoyment of the present moment. It'll be spring when all this goes down. Fecundity and wealth, harmony in practical matters, generosity, the pictures coming together and everything's looking better. It's the Lord of success. So there's a lot of complementary forces joining, and body and soul, everything in balance, fertilization, potential realized, the perfect moment. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm hoping for. But when we read them together, this is what we come up with. This is the best we could hope for, right? That's actually what I'm supposed to be focusing on. We will find our way forward. There will be success. There might be insufficient distribution of resources or ideas from time to time, but that will balance out. And with a little help in pulling up ideas, using our support system, we can overcome this strife. Which takes us to card 6. Let's wrap this baby up. We are coming to the outcome. Now remember in the beginning of the reading, I mentioned paying attention to the pentacles and to the path of the pentacles. So sure enough, our outcome is the Wheel of Fortune, key 10. But in this case, Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune, and she is associated with the path of the pentacles. So since we have so many pentacles, we have the culminating factor of the pentacles, and we're going to look at this from a different angle. Several pentacles means the conditions are forming. Things are going to be harvested. There's going to be a culmination of events. So it is nice to see in the outcome that this will be an overarching completion of a project. It might take some time, but it'll be okay. So the Wheel of Fortune is the Lord of the forces of life. The thing with feeling great and being on top of the world is it's usually a temporary feeling. But this is being on top. Forces that govern existence, expansion, perpetual motion, all things change, but at the center is stillness and stability. Makes me very happy to see that. Luck for the moment, a force multiplier, fate, and fortune. So an upturn in the way things have been going. Whew, can we get there already? But it sounds like we have such a long path of formation to get there. So in context to the reading, this is one side's going to improve, but the other side's going to suffer. So while we might have some successes in resources, there might be a temporary setback and some feelings involved. Life will improve, but another thing will be displaced. We'll be able to resolve it, and it'll be clear that we need to. But things are not going to work out how I think they're going to. They're not going to work out how I want them to. But maybe, just maybe, if we bring everybody together and work it up together, it'll be all for the best. And what's best for the twins. That took us about 10 minutes to cover, so it's kind of a quick reading, which is great. That's exactly what the Simplified Celtic Cross is for. Thank you for joining us today on Awen Ovate. I'm Erin, and remember, the fun is all in the cards.